Welcome back, everybody, to the Next Level podcast with Dr. Leslie. I am your host, Dr. Leslie. All right, this is take two. We started this episode and we had some technical difficulties, so we are reshooting this on a completely different day. We are going to include a little snippet of what was recorded from the last episode. We'll just kind of tag down to the end of this because we got some really cool shit that we want to make sure everyone hears. But this is take two of Dezi Marie, the badass entrepreneur, mental health, personal development brand owner, and all the things. Welcome back again, take two.
Hey, take two. I'm so happy to be here. It's okay. We get to hang out again and we get to do this again. We get to just give more value and talk about some amazing stuff. So I am happy to be here.
And you know
once again.
Thank you. And it was really amazing because we were talking on my podcast a couple days ago about how everything works out for us and everything is positive and blah, blah, blah. And here we are, being challenged with this, the recording didn't go through. And we were both just like, all right.
We were like, okay, I guess we get to hang out again.
We're like, because we both realized, you were running late because there was an accident, so we only had 45 minutes anyway, and then we were gabbing.
Barely.
And then we got through the podcast, and I was like, oh my God, we just got started. I'm like, you're so fucking cool. And then we're told half of it didn't record, and we were like, yes, we get to do it again.
And then this morning we come in and we're both coffee fiends, I guess, and the coffee machine was broken, and we had to go buy coffee.
Right?
So
here it is. Cheers to the coffee.
Yep.
So we had a little date this morning. I literally sent my producer, I'm like, it's too goddamn early to be recording. I never record this early. I'm like, please make me coffee. And then Desi texts me. She's like, it's broken. Pick me up. We're going for coffee. So we both got more bonding time.
We did.
It's all for us to bond.
I know.
And be amazing. That's it. The podcast apparently is second. We have to be friends.
It's okay.
Right.
We are friends. We're doing it. We're also matching. So
we're matching. So we kind of we'll go through the part that didn't get recorded, but we kind of left off on the hat. Okay, this is my favorite hat. This is her brand. So this mental wellness, personal development brand. Mine says choose happy, which I love. I love the white hat. It's all part of my spring theme. Spring being black and white.
I love it.
Very spring colors. But the lemon and cherry is bittersweet because that's the name of your brand.
Exactly.
And I fucking love this hat so much. After the podcast and I bought it, she's like, thank you so much for supporting my brand. And I'm like, dude, it's not just about supporting your brand. I'm not giving you a handout. I legit love this fucking hat and the logo and the words and everything. This I'm going to be promoting because I just I'm inspired and I love it.
You.
So yes, I didn't just give you I'm
I like that.
pity support.
No,
I didn't pity support you. I legit.
I love people clearly supporting the business and the brand, but sometimes I'm like, did you buy it because you like it, or did you buy it because you want to?
Yeah, I legit bought it because I like it, and I'm very discerning. I won't just support someone. If someone comes in here, there are guests on my show that they're promoting things, and I won't push them if I don't believe or I don't back it. So because I bought your hat, I'm sorry, that says a lot about it because I'm very selective. Not that you have to feel like it's important.
Well, you embody what the brand is all about. And, I don't know exactly where we left off, but like she said, I started a mental health clothing brand during COVID, in the midst of COVID, when I just literally felt the world on my shoulders, kind of feeling the negativity, the fear, and I just felt like everyone around me felt out of control. I felt like everyone felt like the world was pushing them to do all these crazy things, when in a way it was. But I felt very in control during COVID personally. And I give that to kind of my mental tenacity and everything. But I felt like everything around me, and I was like, okay, I want to create something. I want to push a message. I want to create a community during one of the hardest times that we've gone through in years and years and years and years in the entire world. And kind of embracing the bittersweet lifestyle, which is what my brand's called, is that your lowest moments literally are the best things that can ever happen to you. And I know there's people listening to this that are either in the middle of it and they're like, girl, what are you talking about? I literally don't want to even wake up tomorrow. My life is terrifying and I'm stressed and I have anxiety, and I've been there. But when you get through that, because you will, It's going to build the armor that you need, either take someone out of your life that you don't need, get you out of a job that you don't need, and you're going to build this new version of yourself every time that you get through a really hard moment or a low moment that you needed to take you to where you are today. And something that I've noticed is I make these huge goals in my life. I'm a goal-oriented person. I'm a 3 Enneagram. I'm a Sagittarius. I'm fire. And sometimes I sit there and I'm like, oh shit, I asked the universe for this goal. I asked the universe this is where I want to be, but I didn't realize the stuff that I need to go through to get there. And then when I'm going through that, I'm like, wait a second. I didn't know what I was asking for. And then, but then I kind of embrace it. And I live the bittersweet lifestyle. I embrace my lows. I kind of love it sometimes when I'm going through shit and I'm like talking to myself and I'm like, Des, this is making you stronger. Des, you just got to learn from your mistakes. Des, you got this. Des, there's other people who have been in your exact shoes, have gotten through it. And that's like the whole premise of the brand.
There is so much in what you said that I like want to chime in and add to.
Yeah, you can interrupt me at any time.
No, I cannot because you're on a roll and everything. I'm just going in my head, yes, yes, yes. Oh my God, yes, yes, yes. I've been there, oh my God, yes, yes, yes. It really is amazing because, and I've been there too. Like I told you my story. Everyone knows my story. You know, the indictment, the felony, sleeping on couches, bottle of pills in my hands, like everything, total out of control life, embarrassed, humiliated, no street smarts, like just, you know, this little Canadian having her whole life turned upside down by.
Wait, I don't want to I actually don't know your story.
Dude, what? I didn't tell you.
know.
Oh, you got a little bit of it with Marvin.
A second.
Yeah, so.
If you give me like a minute synopsis, that would be so great.
I don't think I can keep it to a
Okay.
minute. Basically, I was in this, working in this psych facility, going through a major, horrible divorce with a guy that was making my life miserable, estranged from my parents because of the divorce, raising 2 little kids, trying to finish my DNP, being innovative. And I was dating this Cuban guy who was an NP, also had a doctorate in psych. And short story, he was doing really shitty things with my license, my prescribing with a compound pharmacist that he brought to me, thinking everything was fine. And they were doing this major kickback scheme. He was doing all these like pain meds, like was caught with photos of him like handing prescriptions through the car and like coming back later buying back the pain meds, like a big scheme. I got pulled in because of that whole little scheme that they were doing. So I was indicted, 2.5 years of fucking hell. They wanted to put me away for 5 years. I served no time. All the 8 charges got dropped to like illegal healthcare remuneration because at one point he was giving me envelopes on my desk and I didn't know where they were coming from. He was trying to be, oh, it's for you. Take your kids to Disney. You're not talking to your family. You know, you have lawyer. You know, like I really didn't know. It was awkward, but I hadn't dated since I was like 19 when I was married to my ex for 14 years. So then when my boss told me like, are you in this kickback scheme? You guys billed the insurance like $3 million. And I was like, what the fuck? No. I approached the guy and he's like, yep, that's where the money was coming from. And now if you say anything to anyone, just watch what will happen to you and your kids.
Excuse me?
It got fucking bad. The reason why I ended up getting saved in the end is because the judge, I had an amazing judge who saw through everything. He's like, this was domestic abuse. We have all the text messages, but it took 2.5 years and like 3 U.S. attorneys because they wanted to. I mean, I'm not going to get into how the feds operate, but it ain't up and up.
Can I ask you something, even though you're supposed to be asking me things?
Absolutely. Ooh,
Okay.
I like it.
So, how did that experience get you to the seat that you are sitting in today?
Yeah.
Do you think that you needed to go through that to be
1,000%.
the woman that you are today?
1,000%. I was so anxious. I had a lot of OCD, which I've now completely managed. I was very anxious. I was very contracted, again, no street smarts, no confidence. I was doing the 9-to-5 bullshit, which I hated. I, was so not me, but I had a vision of myself. I knew when I was 5, I told people I was going to be a brain surgeon because I was going to cure the impossible, which is the brain. Now I'm doing that, but through my brand, through mental health awareness, through the gut-brain axis, through biohacks, through mindset, through actually Tango. I'm doing research with mental health and Tango because there's so much research supporting the effects on the brain. So and then like 19 years ago, I had a vision that I was on this stage speaking and sharing wisdom and doing all this stuff. And actually, when I was a kid, I didn't pretend wedding or pretend babies or anything. I would wrap myself up in a white fucking sheet, line my little toys up, take my mom's like Ukrainian dish and bowl, fill it up with water and bread, and I would speak gibberish and like be enlightening my toys.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible.
When I was like 4, 5, 6.
Enlightening my toys.
Yeah, I was totally like speaking gibberish. So I knew it was imprinted in me. I knew what I needed to do, which I'm doing now. But there was a time when I was going through this really important spiritual awakening in the middle of my indictment. I would be really connected with my inner truth. And I knew, like, the words, the divine wisdom would drop in my head repeatedly. You need a felony. I knew I wasn't going to go away to prison. There was just a knowing. I knew exactly how it was going to end. I knew it. The words would be there. I knew I needed a felony. I was told. I remember I was in Lifetime Athletic Club, Lifetime Fitness, whatever. I was in the women's locker room. I was in this blissful state, and those words literally downloaded like a soul spirit was talking to me. It's happened to me many times like this. And it said, you will need a felony because you would not choose the life that you need to if you didn't have it. And it's so true. I was forced. You know the limitation of a felony? You can't get a fucking job. In the pandemic, so I got a COO job, and then the pandemic hit. It's like right when I thought that I was going to thrive. My indictment hadn't been resolved yet. After the pandemic hit, I had to do 80 hours of community service. I did it at Goodwill. Mm-hmm. That was my best job opportunity, was working at Goodwill as a doctoral degree.
I just need to like literally pause because you're saying, how many years ago was that?
In 2018, June 1st, 2018.
Okay, so 5-6 years ago. Ish?
18.
No, 19. Can we do math here? Yeah.
7 years.
7 years ago. Okay, so 7 years ago, your best job you could get was at Goodwill. And you're
2021.
And you're sitting here right now. You are practicing at these offices that you were telling me about, doing something that you love, that you're kind of transitioning. You're leveling
professional
up.
Speaker
you're a professional speaker.
Tango pro.
You're a tango pro. I'm sitting here on your podcast as a guest. And this is the exact reason why I started this brand, because you literally can absolutely change your life no matter where you are starting from, no matter what happened, no matter how low your low is. You have the power of choice. You have the power of taking things that happen to you and learning from them and learning how to create a mindset that no one can break you and create this new life for yourself. And it all starts in your mind, and it all starts with the power of choice. It's all a power thing. It's all realizing that you have the power. Like if people woke up every day and realized how powerful they were, nothing would mess with them. It doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter what happens to me. Like honestly, like I'm not saying that I'm like invincible and I don't get sad and things like that. But the other day I walked outside to get in my car, and my car window was smashed, and everything in my car was out. There's shit stolen. I was on the way here to shoot a podcast, and I literally, you can ask my partner, I walked outside, I looked at the car, and I was like, welp, took some photos, took a video, called an Uber. And I was like, okay, I'll do that tomorrow. It didn't even faze me.
Mm-mm.
I made sure that like nothing important was stolen, and there was, but I got reimbursed because I have renter's insurance, thank God. But whatever, that was annoying. But I literally looked at it. You could ask me, I was like, that's cute. You know, someone decided to break into my car last night. And I moved on with my day. I came to my podcast, had an amazing day.
It's all about choice and the power. Excuse me. You're so right. Like when I went through when I was working at Goodwill, I had surrendered my nursing licenses because I was afraid. I didn't trust myself. I didn't trust people in the medical facility or in the medical community because this happened all under my nose. And I was sleeping on a couch in an elderly community. I wasn't even supposed to be there for 9 months. Well, like that's how low I got. All right, on these two little
so empowering
like these, you know, what you put on top of mattresses, like those little foamies you buy at like Walmart for, I don't know, $50.
Right.
I was sleeping on that on the floor for 9 months while I was flying to Indianapolis to go see my kids because it was a pandemic reshuffle, and you know it's the greatest thing.
That's insane.
But yeah, I mean, I felt like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And it really took me, this is where I developed my remap process and really understood how to process through and accelerate through. And the emotional state that you live in and your belief systems are critical.
Everything.
Energy is important, getting stable. I know people who go through like the spiritual aspect. There is, people go through like what's called purging, people that are more like on an awakening path. But for people that maybe they're not at that point, or they're not spiritual, or they're not going through that sort of process, it's the emotional. And to be able to hold an emotion, you have to have a clear field, right? Because everything is energy. I don't even like using the spirituality, because everything is an energetic charge.
Of course.
And mindset. And it took so much for me. But I knew it. I knew I was going to have the felony, because I wouldn't be sitting here on this podcast. The reason why I did the podcast, it was either this or PR, for me to get all of that erroneous information on the Justice Department websites pushed down.
Right.
So I'm here. I need something to push it down, because I wanted to have my say. And now it turned into, it's a successful podcast. Now I'm a professional speaker. Now I'm doing all of these things.
I love it. I think it's
right?
important. Like, so one of the things I love about life, which I love life, is that when you are thrown a lot of shit in your life, and everyone goes through stuff. I don't care who you are. No one has a perfect life. No one has a perfect chapter. The more stuff you go through, it's because you're going to make more impact in the world. Like, when I'm going through my own legal stuff right now. I actually just sat in a jail cell for the first time ever for 24 hours over some dumb shit, but still went to jail. And because they arrested me on the spot, and they just throw you in there. They don't even care anymore, I feel like. And it was traumatizing, to say the least. But my dad, he worked for federal probation. His entire career was helping criminal rehabilitation. And I never understood my dad's career until I sat in there. I swear I needed to be in there. I was sitting in there, and I was like, I need to be here. After I got like past like the total like shock and this and that, and I've never been in trouble. I've been a goody two shoes my entire life. I never got in trouble in school, never got in trouble in college, never been arrested, never anything. Like, I would get like sad if I got like a C in class. Like, that was me. And I was sitting in there, and I was like, I need to see this world, because it is absolutely horrendous. It is absolutely not okay. It should be illegal, in my opinion, like what goes on in there, and like the way people are treated, and the way I was my jaw was to the ground the entire time I was there. And sometimes we're like embarrassed to talk about these things, but I was sitting there, and I was like, you know what, Des, like, you need to be here. Like, I literally, there was a point after 13 hours of deliria that I was in there, and I was like staring at a wall, and there was crackheads like running around me. And I was like, I need to be here, and I'm going to like soak this in, because this is going to help me. I feel like I have knowledge like for the world right now. Like, I feel like I just built this new like street game, know what's going on behind the scenes on the underground, like know how people are treated. And this all fuels me to do what I do more. I'm like people need help, and I want to help them. And me being in there gave me a whole new perspective about life, and a whole new perspective about the system, a whole new perspective about, how people are treated, and our justice system, and all these things that I'll probably get more into as I develop and grow, and my career grows, and having a father and probation and stuff like that. But those people more than ever need to learn how to choose happy again, and the power of choice. And that's really hard. And I was only there for 24 hours, and I was like, holy crap, like getting back into the world, I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to be in my bed. Oh my God, I just want to shower. Oh my God, like, please, I want to feel safe. Like, I felt like I could get, like, my whole life could get stripped away from me at any second, is how I felt. Like, I was like having like PTSD going to bed, that like someone's gonna like break into my house and just like take me out of my life. Like, that's how it felt. Like, it could just all get taken away from me. I can't imagine like actually being in there and like serving time and coming out. That, like,
It's terrifying, and I mean, we could do a whole other episode.
Yeah,
on
we don't have to go into criminal justice,
but a lot of the mental health. So some of the research that I've been doing, there's the brain. Again, the brain when it's injured, or just mental health concerns, they're really driving a lot of the crimes. Like a lot of the criminals, they have brain injuries from birth or from traumas or from their, being beaten by their families or whatever.
100%. I read this book called...
And it can be rehabilitated. The brain can be rehabilitated. And so remember when we were chatting on the episode last, we were talking about the perception, right?
Yes.
It's perceiving. And so I've talked about how, we're energy, right? And so we get our inspiration, our desire to do things from, it's being conceived from somewhere else. Our brain has to receive it, and then our minds perceive it. So if the brain, the receiver, like a TV, like the antennas on a TV, the old school, if those are broken or crooked, you're not going to be able to perceive it at all.
Right.
And being, having had OCD that was really rampant when I was younger, I mean, when my brain, I could not calm myself. Even my son, he calls me every day. He's been going through having a lot of intrusive thoughts. His brain is still developing. And so he's having a hard time perceiving what's right because he can't, his brain is not functioning. It's so important that people like you and I know I'm talking more on the mental illness side, but we can help curtail that. That's part of the thing. Part of the reason I'm here on this planet is to help with the mental illness side.
Yeah.
To give them an opportunity. No one left behind. We can all choose happy, but our brains have to be functioning optimally to be able to even fucking do that.
And my job on this planet and on this podcast and on my day-to-day life is to express to people and let people know. And I don't know if this part of the podcast got cut out, but I'm not supposed to be here. And what I mean by that is I was born into a regular 9-to-5 family. I was bullied my entire life. I was overweight my entire life. I was at my highest 250 pounds. I'm like 154 now or something like that. I had to recreate myself. This is not, I want to bring reality back to the world. Because right now, everything looks like everything is so easy and I made $1 million overnight and my life is perfect and da-da-da-da. And it's making people judge themselves and compare themselves, and none of it is reality. And my biggest thing for me is to say, no, you know what? Like, I'm not going to tell you it was easy. I'm not going to tell you that I was born into it. I'm not going to tell you that starting my business was easy. I'm not going to tell you that losing 70, 80 pounds was easy. I'm not going to lie and sit here and say all that. I'm going to tell you that it's achievable, and I'm going to tell you how I did it, and I'm going to make sure that you feel like you can do it too. And that is what this entire brand and my existence is about, because when I realized that it's all a power of choice, it doesn't matter that I was born into maybe a family that didn't have the best eating habits, or just my genetics, like just what I was born into. Those are the cards that I was given. But I learned to embrace all of that. I learned to learn about it, and I've learned how to essentially hack my subconscious mind, which is like the craziest thing ever when you figure out how to differentiate between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind, and that what you feed your conscious mind is literally programming your subconscious mind like a computer. Like when you turn on your computer and you're typing into Google, you are like putting out exactly what you want to search, but there's a computer that has an engine that's running in the back no matter what, right? And so every single day we're programming our computer. Every second of the day, which is kind of like, every second of the day. I'm like, yeah, you kind of are every second of the day. You're programming this computer. If you can learn to feed yourself the things that will subconsciously just have you in a positive and a high on a daily basis, you're already beating half of the planet.
Yeah.
Because your base level is positivity. Your base level is I can do this. Your base level is confidence. Your base level is abundance. Your base level is everything around me is working out for me.
Is bliss and joy and amazingness.
And that is the power that we hold, is that we can rewire this computer at any time that we want.
And I want to totally support. I'm like literally my guts are like, I just like, they do flips every time she talks. I'm like, yes, yes, yes. So I want to second that with a little bit more detail, because I know there's a lot of listeners that are going, yeah, but how the fuck do you do that? Exactly. I've been doing this. And so I want to go back to what your process was, your journaling and those things. But I do want to just, tell everyone that's listening, it can be done. I had OCD. Okay. I like pathologic compulsive, obsessive thinking where I would ruminate and ruminate and ruminate. I could not control my thoughts. Like I'm one of those like 0.01% of people that have been able to transform my life because my brain wasn't even working properly. If I can do it, you can do it. So what Desi was saying about really reprogramming, I know that my brain and my subconscious mind is changed because when I wake up, for me, I would wake up in the morning and some days I would just wake up feeling like a piece of shit. And I don't, those mornings, that's one thing I said to the universe or whatever, whoever you believe in.
Right.
I want to wake up every morning feeling amazing. And I know it was that subconscious programming that I would wake up. Sometimes it was physical, sometimes the brain chemicals, right? With the serotonin or whatever can predispose you to feeling not so great, which can lead you into that down.
Me this morning.
Right, exactly.
Right,
and we turned it around. Like you felt that way, and then it's just like boom, boom, boom. You can reset. But I know that I'm in a great place because my automatic thoughts, when things happen to me, like, these are a good way for you to test yourself. When things happen, if your automatic reaction or your automatic thought is different than it used to be, you're fucking changing.
You're changing.
And and your subconscious thoughts are in a good place. Yeah. So if you don't know or, you're wondering where you're at, that's a baseline, how you respond to something, the thoughts that go, that happen right away. But you can with repetition. And so we had talked a little bit on the last episode. It's getting into a state, an emotional state, and matching your belief systems with that because it's emotions and beliefs. The beliefs create an emotion. People do things, some people do beliefs first and then emotions. I tend to help people get into an emotional state that they want to feel. And then from that state, that visualization, that beingness, what beliefs do I need to change to align with that creation? 100%. And so we talked a little bit, and I hope we got at least some of that recording, but I want you to go a little bit into, I'm going to summarize, but you ended up having, you were having a battle with weight. You ended up getting a coach to help you sort of lose weight, and she was talking to you about mindset, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That was like the beginning of your transformation.
100%.
And so you were telling me about journaling was like a really important practical tool for you, and you used 3 sections when you journal that help you kind of get into a good state, and sort of also you talked about, and I think this was separate, what you do every morning to get you into that.
I can talk about that again.
Please do.
So the first thing that I want to say is everything is habitual and your life is literally a compound of your habits. So when you're trying to set goals or you're trying to change your life, I want you to maybe let go of the goals as much and say, what new habits can I create in my day-to-day life that I could do every single day that are going to change the way that I feel and change my day-to-day life. Everything is habits. It's not goals, it's habits. If you can change your habits, your goals are going to be achieved. So when you're setting a goal, it's okay to set a goal. I want to start my new business. I want to make $10,000. I want to lose weight. That's like the goal, okay? And this is where people get stuck, okay? And then you can get anxiety about like where to start, all these things. When you look at that goal, you're like, what habits do I have to create on a day-to-day basis that a person that has already achieved that goal is doing? Okay? And then once you start doing that, amazing things will happen. So one of the habits that I think changed my life that I will do to the end of time is journaling. Journaling has changed my life. I believe that a pen and a piece of paper is the most powerful thing on this planet. If someone were like, you're going to get thrown in a box for 30 days or like you're going like to be on an island and stranded, I would bring a piece of paper and a pen. I kid you not, because I swear I would be able to change my scenario with this piece of paper and this pen. So every single morning when I wake up, I'm a big visualization person, and I like see things before they happen, but I just create them in my mind in a way, and I like live them and I feel them. And so
Ooh,
I know. No, yeah. And
I
so
love
this
it.
is something that I'll start there. So when I wake up in the morning, there's a couple practices that I want to talk about. And I want to say this because I know that morning routines are something that can be, it's pushed a lot on social media and out there as much. And I think everybody's morning routine can look very different. I'm going to tell you what mine is. It doesn't mean that it's the perfect thing, but it works for me. And what I want to say is just have a morning routine that works for you. Do not just wake up and pick up your phone. Do not just wake up and start your day. I want you to take control of your day. When you wake up, I want the first 30 minutes or an hour, if you can give that to you, to be about you, for you, with you, where the rest of your day is like, I know exactly what's going to happen today. And I'm in control and I'm in power. I've fed myself, I've fueled myself, and now I'm ready to go. So what I do in the morning, I wake up. My internal clock is so good that I don't have an alarm anymore. My body wakes up at 7:30 every single day. You can ask my friends. It's like my eyes like open at 7:30 a.m. every day.
I believe you, but oh my God, 7:30? No.
Like every day. Like if I go to bed like at 2 a.m. like because I do a show or like whatever, I'm out. Like I'll still wake up at 7:30. It's kind of crazy. I wake up. And the first thing I do is I get up and I drink water because we are so dehydrated when we wake up. And I drink like 2 glasses of water and I rehydrate myself.
Do you have it by your bed, like from the night
Sometimes
before?
I do, but sometimes I chug it for the night before. But I just wake up, go to my water filter, fill up my cup, and I go outside and I get some sun. And the sun, what the sun does is it literally wakes you. It tells your body that it's time to get up from the sleep mode. And it wakes you up. It starts to give you the serotonin levels and all these things that, hey, the day is starting, we're ready to go. And the sun is just a beautiful thing, get some vitamin C. And then I kid you not, I go outside, I stare into the earth, and I have a very beautiful view from my apartment, thank God. I see the strip, I see the mountains, and I envision my dream life every day. I envision myself, I close my eyes, and I see myself getting on a plane to go speak at an event. I see myself marrying my best friend. I see myself, like I'm doing it right now and I'm like getting happy. I see myself running a multi-million-dollar brand. I feel it. I feel what that feels like. I get excited. I literally start to smile. Like I feel it all and I embody it. And maybe for like a couple minutes. And then I pray, I thank God, and I'm like, I'm about to have an amazing day. And I come inside and I start to journal. And what the journaling does, and there's 2 parts to this. I only talked about one. So I want to talk about 2 because one of them is for me and one of them is like to plan my day. And I think they're both very important. So I wake up and I do my gratitudes and I just list 3 things that I'm grateful for. And everybody says to do these things, but it honestly really works because I really feel like there are so many things that I can be grateful for and we are not grateful anymore on this earth. And I think it's very important. Doesn't matter what your life is, there is something to be grateful for. So I write down what those things are depending on my day-to-day life. And then the next thing that I do that has completely shifted everything because I'm a person who doesn't give myself much recognition is I put 3 things that I'm proud of myself for doing either the day before or just in general. And the day before thing is very important because so much can happen in a 24-hour period and we are on such a go and there's so much information getting fed to us all day that we literally don't remember what we did the day before. And we don't even ingrain, like we don't. I'm thinking, like, we do not know what we did the day before.
What did I do
No,
yesterday?
it's insane. It's insane. But you sitting here thinking about that is so good for you. It's so good for you. So I sit there and I'm like, what did I even do yesterday? Oh my gosh. I went and spoke on this podcast. I speak on podcasts now. Oh my God. Like I wish I did that like 3 months ago or it could be the smallest thing. I cooked myself dinner last night. I never cook myself dinner. I cooked myself dinner last night. It's these little things. And I say I'm proud of myself for this. I'm proud of myself for pushing myself to make that phone call to my ex-best friend that I didn't speak to for 7 years. I sent that email. I quit my job. A lot of the times I'm proud of myself for listening to my intuition more. I'm proud of myself for saying no. I'm proud of myself for setting boundaries. Like things that I just have been really working on doing and we don't congratulate ourselves.
It is so good because
it's so good.
Journaling is super, super important. And I've gotten actually naturally into that habit too, because again, part of my remap process is progress checking, gratitude or recognition is what I like to share people because we talked about like the gratitude trap. recognizing what I've done, you know, that I've met my goals, that I've done things differently. Boundaries,
Dude.
huge. Saying no, being proud of myself. You know, when someone says, like with my kids, when I'm like, baby, I'm so proud of you. My kids, like when someone is proud of you, that shit versus being disappointed. Like people don't want to disappoint people. Like you can hate someone, but when you feel they've disappointed you, that's like almost worse. And when someone's proud, it's like you puff your chest up. And so I love that. I'm proud of myself for. That's recognition.
I do that every morning.
Is so much more powerful than I even think than traditional gratitude, because people can be grateful. Well, I'm grateful that I'm sleeping I'm sleeping on this mat in this 85-year-old lady's house. I at least have a place to live. Yes, it's important, but also people tend to then, at least it was for me, this is my experience, then people like will allow themselves to be breadcrumbed. If you're so grateful for just little things, that's where I just caution people, because I got into that trap. And I'm like, I don't feel any better. I'm grateful for being that I didn't take the bottle of pills. Like I still, you know.
It's more about, even in your situation, if you're sleeping in a cot in an old lady's house, like whatever, then you, like what I would do is I am proud of myself for not judging myself for the situation that I am. I am proud of myself for waking up today and journaling, even though I'm not where I want to be.
That's great. I am proud of myself for not having hooked up with some sugar daddy and had integrity, because, let me tell you, I could have done that over and over and over again, but I chose to sleep on that 84-year-old woman.
I've fake started an OnlyFans like 12 times. Don't get me started. Like, I convinced myself that I'm going to do it, and then I'm like, no, I'm not.
Oh, my God, it's so funny. I did that, too. There was people like, okay, you got to do OnlyFans, and I literally opened it up. One day, I was on it for, 24 hours. I just put, my profile, just a photo.
I did a photo shoot.
And I was like, what the fuck am I doing? This is so fucking dumb.
And then I was like, no, I'm not. I'm not doing this.
This is so dumb.
I'm proud of myself for deleting my OnlyFans.
I'm proud of myself for deleting my almost OnlyFans account.
No, yeah. It's super powerful. Like, I can't even tell you, this has changed my life. And then after I do that,
oh my God, I just super fell in love with you that you and I both had almost.
No, I've done it 4 times. No, one time. No, what is it? That convention that was just here in Resorts World, the sex one, the OBS.
The porn.
Yeah.
Porn convention.
So I was there, looking pretty hot, not gonna lie. I was just there having lunch with some friends. I had 3 people come up to me and was like, can I subscribe to your OnlyFans? And I was like, first I was offended in a way. I was like, I'm not a sex worker. Not that sex workers are bad, but I was like, I'm not
no
here.
Judgment.
No, not at all. But I'm like, I'm not here for that. I'm just literally having lunch. And then secondly, I was like, wait. I was like, hold up, is this a calling? I'm like, is the bag calling? No, I'm kidding. But
you're presented with those things. Even for me, I was like, I mean, people were like, all, the guys that I was like, it was presented to me. And again, I'll contemplate. I'm like, okay, what is this telling me? Is this really something that I want to do? Is this brand, you can't automatically judge something. I'm always like, what is this telling me? What is this feeding me? Is there something here? I will not just block something because it could be telling me something. It might just help me clarify who I am, what I want to do, and reaffirm my brand, which is what that did. But when I was talking, I talked to some guys. I'm like, should I do an OnlyFans account? One guy was like, obviously he was right, and I knew this. It's going to fuck up your brand.
No, yeah.
You can't be a professional speaker.
Not be good for my brand at all.
Not only are you a felon and all the things, but then you have an OnlyFans, you're just digging a fucking hole. And I'm like, yeah. But then I was talking with some other guys, and they're like, oh, I'll totally shoot it with you, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, you're just super pervs.
It's funny as fuck.
So we won't do that.
We're not going to do that.
I was up for 24 hours, a profile pic, and I'm like,
we're not doing that.
No,
it's
we're
okay.
not doing
We're
it.
fine. It's a learning lesson.
We're good.
I'm good on that. But
anyways, very interesting how it presents to us, but it helped us. So even, this is a great teaching point too. So even though it presented itself to us, and we started it 4 times, but then ended, it gave us an opportunity to really say, again, it was an opportunity to say, this is not who I am. everything in life, every experience, whether it's preferred or not, or you want to label it bad or good, I like to use something I don't prefer. So if something I don't prefer happens, like, getting indicted and whatever, really it is saying, okay, this is teaching me something about myself, something I can learn from. It's helping me become more of who I am. I think that's the whole purpose of life is we are God, God energy, source energy, experiencing ourselves through the theme of Leslie, through the theme of you. And we are learning to be more and more coming into our power and our truth of who we are. And we do that by having these experiences where we get to learn and fine tune and refine who we are.
Oh, dude, it's awesome. Like, one of the coolest things that's happening to me in my life right now that I used to not be good at and that I've been like working in the muscle is I swear the universe is throwing all these crazy opportunities at me to like divert me from doing like my path. And what I mean by that is like, especially like entrepreneurs and stuff, especially when you start to get to momentum, people are just going to throw stuff at you. Like, I feel like every day someone's like coming up with an idea that could work and this, and let's just collaboration and da-da-da-da. It's felt so good to be like, hey, thanks for the opportunity, but no, I can't because I committed to doing this thing in March. So what I'm doing right now, like March, I'm doing this like 30 to 60 day sprint on TikTok Shop where I'm going to go live every day for like 60 days with my brand, is just see like how much traction I can get with the brand and like use the platform and sell online and create this cool community on TikTok. And everything that's come to me, I'm like, I can't for at least 60 days. I can't do it. And some people are like, no, but you need to, like, I'm telling you, this is the next thing. And I'm like, it's felt so good because I'm one of those entrepreneurs that gets shiny object syndrome for like a lot. And I'll jump and do 17 million projects at once. And I've learned that does not work. You will literally run yourself dry. And it's felt so empowering for me to now experience the same experience, but have a different output and just be like the setting boundaries thing. It's like, I appreciate it and think it's cool and maybe in the future, but like, no, because I'm so dead set on and my feet are so planted on what I'm doing and nothing can, I have like blinders on right now. Like you could offer me $1 million and I'm probably gonna be like, no, it's fine. I'm gonna do a 60-day sprint.
It feels so amazing,
it feels
right?
so
when
good.
you are so
That
connected.
used to not be me.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm the same way. I would just like, especially where I came from, sleeping on the fucking couch, I was like wanting to grasp at anything just to, and then it's like, I have self-respect. Like, I'm a fucking badass. Like, it took me so much, rehabilitation, using my remap process to like really, really quickly, very quickly transform. Like over less than a year, I went from embarrassment, humiliation, stepping out into the world again to where I am now, where I'm like turning opportunities down because I'm like, no, this is what I need to do.
It's very empowering.
And it's self-respect. That's true self-love. That is self-love when you know your power as a creator and being so convinced and so faith-filled in who you are and what you're capable of that you have the discernment, like, no, I know what is right for me. I know what I want to do. And even if it doesn't work out the way you thought, you still know it's still serving you. It's so amazing to live this way. It's so awesome that I met another woman who gets it.
I know.
Oh my God, I love it so much.
Okay, should I tell them the third thing that I do?
Yes.
In the journaling?
I know, we totally
No, it's okay.
sidetracked.
It's okay. We're great. I love
recognition. Being prideful.
Being proud. And then I like let myself, which is really hard for people sometimes, just like brain dump. Like I write down, so I write it down. So I put like gratitude, then I put proud. And then I do a section where it says affirmations, thoughts, and mantras. And then I just start writing. Today I woke up feeling super excited, or today I woke up feeling really down. I feel like I have a lot of decisions that I need to make. This is happening in my life. I'll just like write down like everything that's kind of happening in my mind, because we cannot keep all this stuff in our minds. You need to brain dump. You need to get that out so you can think clearly. So I'll just start going, and sometimes it's really empowering. I'm like, I'm badass. I'm about to da-da-da-da-da-da. Like, and sometimes I'm like, dang, like yesterday was really hard, but I'm, maybe I should do this, maybe I should do that, but I'm feeling this way. And I just kind of like let myself, I have a conversation with myself. Why don't we hang out with ourselves? I don't really know. I have a conversation with myself on paper. Feels really freaking good. It feels like I'm listening to myself and just letting myself be. Like, I don't even think, sometimes it's not even complete thoughts. I just let my hand go.
Yeah,
like my
auto
brain
write.
like works. And then after that, I write some things that like help me feel good that I've just like embodied as like, if you ever hear like a mantra and affirmation that you really relate to, like stick to that. Like one of the ones that I love is like everything's always working out for me. I write down that every day because then I just feel like whatever's happening to me is working out. So everything's always working out for me. The way I do one thing is the way I do everything. That pushes me to just like show up, right? I write like every day. I write like I am a female Latina millionaire, CEO, influencer, podcaster, brand owner, and Grammy award-winning singer-songwriter. I write that like every fucking day, like without, like I write it at some point of the day because I believe that that's who I am. And I kind of do that, and I end the note in some positivity. It doesn't matter if I'm like crying myself to sleep the night before. I kind of try to end myself there, and that's like part of the rewiring, like the rewiring of my mind. It's habitual. So it's not that you're going to journal and your life's going to change because you journaled for one day. You might sit down one day and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. You need to get up and do it again the next day. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, today I kind of feel proud. Okay, I'm getting this little journaling thing. This is cool. You need to do it. You need to do it when you don't want to do it and turn into a habit that now you just want to do it. And it becomes a habit. It becomes a part of your day-to-day routines. And when you start putting good habits in your day-to-day routine, the old habits start to just diminish.
Yeah.
And you're now replacing them with the habits of the person that you want to become. And this is kind of like what manifestation is in a way. Like people are like, just think it and you become it. And I'm like, kind of. You need the habits that go along with it. And I study people that are doing what I'm doing. And I'm like, well, what is this person that is living my dream life doing? And I'm like, okay, let me start doing that. And then you start to feel this way. And then everything in life, again, is about habits. And when you do something good, you create momentum. And when you create momentum, you create confidence. And when you have confidence, you push yourself a little bit more. And when you push yourself a little bit more and you get more momentum and more good things happening, your confidence grows a little bit more. And then let's say something bad happens. Well, that's okay because you've now built a foundation to hold yourself steady, where if that happens, you're like, it's all right. I've been here before. I've got this. Like I'm just growing. And that's the compound effect. It's like investing money, but you're investing in yourself. You need to create like a compound effect for yourself so that you can take all of this stuff that the world's throwing at you and be like, I'm good. And when you start creating this momentum, like I don't know, it's like you become unstoppable. But it's kind of starting is always the hardest part because you don't have momentum and you're like fearful. But if you can just get past that part, when you get one win, a small win, you start to feel good. You're like, I'm doing it. I did it. I'm doing it. I'm doing this, baby. And then it's just going.
That's
and then
right.
You're like, and then you're like, you're on a high with yourself.
And then everything changes and you have that.
Changes.
And that's exactly right. When you start getting those wins of this new pattern, then you have shit you can look back on and reflect and be like, oh my God, see, it happened there. Mm-hmm. And it happened again and it happened again. And then you start seeing it. But it is that first period of time when you're trying to do something different. And I always talk about the echo. When we're doing something and we don't get the results right away reflected back to us in our reality, we think that we're not doing it. We think we're doing something wrong. That I want everyone to know is called an echo. When you're doing something, you're making a change, this is how energy works, right? This is another layer to manifestation or creation. You will encounter oftentimes, if you think about this, you'll probably have this situation, a similar situation from something before might happen. Like maybe your boss comes to you, you're wanting to evolve, you're wanting to get a new job or get a promotion or whatever. Something happens and your boss comes to you again and has the talk and you're like freaking out, like, oh, this happened last time, I'm going to get fired or whatever. That's an opportunity for you to respond differently, to demonstrate to yourself, to the way the energy works, that you are in fact different, and then the outcome will be different. So there's that, you have to be persistent. And then when something happens that maybe looks like something that happened in the past, you have to respond differently. You have to be in your mindset. You have to be in your energy, your positive emotion to respond differently than last time to get a different result.
Yeah, there's this saying that if you don't learn the lesson the first time, the world's going to throw it to you wearing a different pair of pants.
Yep,
And
exactly.
this happens with like relationships a lot. It's like the same. You're gonna get the same dude, and the first one was wearing jeans, and the second one's gonna be wearing slacks. And what you gonna do about it?
Yeah,
he's just gonna come in a different pair of pants.
That's exactly right. And so this is why personal development is so important, because when that happens, that's your opportunity to demonstrate you're different so that stops happening. But to go along with what you're saying, creating that momentum, I always say, and I have a bunch of different, gurus, if you will, lack of a better word, that I followed over the years. And one from this particular person, you need to be passionately passionate about being passionate.
Yeah.
So people are like, but Leslie, how do I do that? Really, it is some of what you do in the morning is getting yourself in that emotion. That's why I told people, first of anything, get in an emotional state where you feel like a fucking $1 million. And you do that, and I do that in the morning. Get excited about something, anything, your cup of fucking coffee, your dog, your fuzzy little blanket that you like. Just allow yourself to be so excited and wonderful about something around you. Just get passionate, get enjoyment out of something. That's how I help people. That's what I tell people when they're like, well, I don't know how to be passionate. I don't know how to keep the passion ball rolling. Anything. What do you feel like doing right now? What would make you, I want to just lay in bed all day. It's my day off. Then fucking do that and allow yourself to feel passionate about that. And then that snowball will start happening, and then you'll be able to use that passion for something else, and then you're going to get the motivation to do something else, and then the droplets are happening. But it's really about that emotional state of being passionate. Find passion, create passion, even if it just starts with a cup of coffee. Sit there, enjoy it. Like how fun were we this morning?
We had the best time for like
coffee.
Like literally 15 minutes of our life, and we were just like,
I was like embodying, getting ready. I'm like, oh my God, my coffee and the sugar-free vanilla and the cinnamon on top. I was like, oh, like in my head, I'm like, oh my God, it's gonna be so good, and it's so good.
And I don't know. I don't know. I enjoy life so much right now, and like every little thing. Like I walk into a coffee shop and I'm like, oh my God, it's so cute that I even like live in Vegas and get to walk into a coffee shop. And then I'm in her badass Porsche, and I'm literally like in her Porsche, and I'm like sitting there and I'm like, I'm gonna have a Porsche one day. Like I'm just sitting there manifesting. I'm like, this is hot. I'm like, I feel sexy in this leather. I should be in this leather. I'm a badass. I'm worth $1 million. Like that's just me all day. Like
I visualized my car. Yeah. I visualized my car a year before I got it. I was hit by a vehicle, like someone T-boned me, and I was like, I thought I was going to keep that car for a while because I'm like, do I want to make that financial investment? I know my car's breaking down, but I was forced to get a new vehicle, and I'm like, I guess this is the time to get my Porsche. And like the visualization of me with like the sunroof and like
it fits you.
It's me. It's me embodied.
It's like you got in your car, and I was like, yeah,
this is me. It's like, me.
This is happening.
Her name is Pretty Girl, and she's me. I personify her. She's me as car form.
We were talking before, I think last time and this time, that you kind of maybe wanted to touch on the part of my story of how this like brand started in like the entrepreneurship side a little bit, because it all feeds into all of this, and like how I came from. How do you go from like my first job was at Buffalo Wild Wings, guys? Okay, no, actually it was at Dairy Queen. So I worked in the food and beverage industry for a long time. I've done all the things. I've cleaned bathrooms. I've taken out trash. I worked at I cut chicken at this little, I don't even know. I've done it all. And now I'm like a founder of a company, and it's freaking crazy. And I'd love to, give any type of insight or advice of people that, the new wave is I want to be my own boss. Yeah. I want to, create this life for myself. And I think it's
the money mindset.
Yeah. And I think it's something that's more attainable now than ever. But I also want to be real about it, because and I'm down to answer like any questions, how I did it, like how to get in the mindset to go from working at like Buffalo Wild Wings to being a founder, things about any of that. But I'd love to share a little bit
go into
about
it. Yeah, it's important, because this next sort of piece I wanted to do after this relationship series, I want to help people understand a little bit more about wealth creation and how to do it from like the sort of not from needing motivation, but from inspiration, because that's how I operate. Most people, they try to create things or make money because they're avoiding lack. Like I need to make X, Y, and Z so I can feed my family because I was poor when I grew up, right? And that's not, I mean, it's one way to live. I'm not poo-pooing that, but there's a better way to live from inspiration. Like, you know who you are, you're creating that no matter what. And you, like, for me, I would rather, like, sleep on an old lady's couch than have some guy own me and be my sugar daddy. I chose to live totally who I am. I know who I am, and I will do everything and anything it takes to get that and create that because it's coming from my inspiration.
Right.
I'm not doing it because I'm fearing lack or fearing being on that couch again or whatever. I don't give a fuck. I've mastered the art of not giving a fuck, and I operate from this different place. And so that's a mindset, but there also has to be, you know, strategy as well in following it.
Right.
So do tell.
Okay, we're gonna start. So I think one of the biggest things. Oh, there's so much. Okay.
It's so cute because you're like, did you want me to talk about it? I'm like, yeah. Now she's like, oh fuck, where do I start?
No, there's so much. I want to give.
We're gonna have to do another episode.
I want to give
as
much value about this as possible. So I think the first thing that you can do is, okay, your relationship with time and time versus money. So.
Excellent. This is one thing that I worked on in my journey is the time, our money. Yeah.
Minimum wage is bullshit. Okay.
It is.
The fact that the society has put a dollar amount on an hour of your life that, by the way, is shit, and has wired people to think that that is okay and that that's their baseline is absolutely bullshit. Okay? Hourly pay is bullshit. Like, that is the first thing I want everyone to know. It's okay if you make hourly pay. I'm not saying that that's wrong.
You deserve
I'm saying
much better, and there's a better way.
Whatever, minimum wage in general is crazy, okay? Like, whatever, what is minimum wage right now? $12 an hour, $13 an hour? I don't know.
Is it that high? Maybe with the inflation.
That sounds so sad to say, like $12 an hour.
No, I think it's like nine something.
So this is what
do you know what it is?
What is minimum wage?
I think
right
it's.
now?
I thought it's. I don't think it's in double digits. I think it's still like 9.
So when I realized that I could take this hat and buy it for $12 or whatever it cost me to make, and sell it for $30 and make $17 in 1 minute, and someone's trying to tell me that I can make $12 an hour, I lost my shit. I literally was like, everything is illegal. This is not okay. Like I mean, it was this realization that I started to have, and I'm like, okay, we really have the power to like recreate whatever we want, and this like time versus money thing is crazy. So what I tell people is, whenever you're in a scenario, really try to navigate the short-term gain or the long-term gain. So a lot of the time right now in society, we need to do what we need to do because short-term, we need to make money, we need cash, we need money now, we need to survive now, and I need it now. So the trap that puts you in is that society, knowing that you need it now, will get you as low as you possibly can because you need it now, and now you're trading your time versus money, and
you're on the hamster wheel.
You're on a hamster wheel. So what I did in my early 20s was I started to gain high income skills, and I didn't care how much I was getting paid for it. So I was working a job that was paying my bills, and then I would work for someone or a company that would teach me a huge, oh my God, it's 1025. 1025 that is like, what can you even get for 1025 anymore?
I think I spent $16 on our coffees this morning. Like you'd have to work. I'd have to work an hour and a half at Goodwill.
No,
to pay for our fucking coffees.
And we all start there.
Shit.
But what I tell people is, in my early 20s, I was working a job, and I was like, I want to learn a high income skill, but I don't want to necessarily go to I went to college, but this was after college. I wanted to learn the internet space, and I ended up working, just to give a background, I've built 2 startup companies. I worked for 2 Fortune 500 companies in their branding space. And all of that happened because I found someone who knew something that I needed to know, that I wanted to know. And I traded my time to learn this skill, not for money, but for longevity. So I was like, once I know this skill, once I know how to do this is going to help me for the rest of my life, or for if I want to start something, or now I have this skill that I know can make this much, or I know is giving this person freedom of time. And I knew that short term, I was making a short term sacrifice for a long term gain. And this is what people don't do anymore. So people aren't willing to do short term sacrifices. They're not willing to, they just want it now. I worked for free for a while for different companies that I ended up getting hired, ended up making money, ended up getting these skills that now I built my own company from getting these skills, okay? Because I was willing to sacrifice. I was willing to go to work and then after hours learn a skill that I knew I was going to take and use for my future life. What this also does is when you're in a space, well, let's say that you feel like you don't have much value to give someone right now, but you want to start getting in different rooms and you want to start networking and you want to start like being in a different world, okay? Because it's like different worlds out here. There's always something you can create. There's always something valuable to anybody. It doesn't matter if they're a millionaire or a billionaire. And sometimes your time is very, very valuable to that person. And they're like, you can go up to someone and be like, I'm young, I'm driven, I want to do what you're doing one day. I don't have much to offer you. I don't have a PhD in this. I don't have this, but I'm willing to work. I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to do what you need to do to just mentor me. Just bring me around. Just put me in different rooms. I just want to learn. I just want to grow. I did that so many times. It got me in rooms with Tony Robbins. It got me in rooms with ClickFunnels. It got me in Russell Brunson. All these huge internet marketers. And it was because I would go to these small startups and be like, "Hey, I know you don't have a lot of money right now. I'm already working my job. I'll work after I get off work. I'll come wherever you need to do. Da 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 da. Just teach me. Just bring me in the world. Just cocoon me.
It's amazing.
Please." And like that, I still do that to this day at a different level now. Now I'm like, meet people that are doing these crazy companies or whatever the case may be, and I'm like, hey, this is what I have to offer. This is what I'm trying to do. Like, how can I be of value to you? How can I be of service to you that makes sense, that I can just learn from you? Because what you need is mentorship. You need to learn from people that are already where you want to be. And I did that in my early 20s, and it completely like got me to where I am today. Like is being able to do short-term sacrifice for long-term gain. Like even right now, like I got this text this morning from this company here, right? And they're like, "Hey, I want you to do this job for me today. Like I'll pay you $20 an hour to do it for the next 4 to 5 hours, and like I would really love for you to do this." And I stared at it and I was like, "Okay, I could either make $100 right now or whatever, $150, whatever it was going to be, or not make any money today, but work on my business infrastructure that's going to pay me $20,000
right
in 3 months." That shift is so freaking powerful. I cannot even explain it.
Yeah.
I cannot even explain it. And it's the hardest thing because you want it. You're like, I could really use that money right now. I could really be there. But it's this like push and pull thing. But if you can just ignore the noise of like the flashiness, I want the car now, I want the money now, I want and build foundations for yourself and do the grunt work and follow your mentors and go into rooms and spend extra time and show people, like when people see that like tenacity in you and see that drive in you, when people are very successful, they want to find people like that. They're like, I see you in me. I want to do that. But you have to show them, you have to give that to them, and they'll want to pour into you because you want to pour into them. And it's this awesome relationship that can get you from, you could be sleeping in a cot and be going into rooms with millionaires.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Like, don't think that reality is your reality.
Right.
Because it's not.
It's not.
So
circumstances don't matter. They don't matter. Where you're at right now doesn't
matter.
Mean anything.
It's your energy. It's what you believe.
It's how you show up and where you show up, where your state of being is 100%. I mean, from my story alone, your story, like you're right. Absolutely.
it's really powerful. It's really powerful. It's the
I mean, I was
short-term
sleeping
gain for
on
long-term.
couches when I went back to work as a, injector and doing all this. No one fucking knew that I was sleeping on a fucking couch.
Right.
But I did, and I showed up, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, you're so amazing," and it helped with the confidence. And now I'm where I'm at.
And also on this money thing is too that I found out in my journey is actually do something that you're passionate about, because when you're passionate about it, you're gonna go the extra mile. If you do something for a quick buck or a quick get rich quick scheme, which they never work and they take a lot of work. When you realize how much work it is, you're gonna quit. And this is what happens a lot. Is people are like, I'm gonna buy this course. I'm gonna be an Amazon FBA person or whatever. It could be anything. And then when you realize that they kind of were selling you like a dream a little bit, which is totally attainable, totally doable.
If it's not authentic and you're not passionate,
if you don't like to do it, like you're gonna quit. And so I tell people, I'm like, you can make a shit ton of money on the internet. You can make a shit ton of money in life. But if you're not passionate about your doing even a little bit, it is not going to work out, because the amount of work that it actually takes, your why is not strong enough to beat your excuses. And you need to find something that you will go the extra mile to do, because you are just that passionate about it. So the shiny object syndrome is like, really evaluate, like, do you want to be sitting here doing this to maybe make you $20,000 or $30,000 a month, but can you actually do that every day for the next 5 years to be able to get there? And if the answer is no, like if you wouldn't do it for free almost, like don't do it. Like that's what I tell people, because even if you make a quick 10 grand 1 month and you realize what it takes to scale or whatever the case may be, you get into these like things with your business, you're gonna literally quit, and then you're gonna be making $0, and you're gonna be like, oh shit, I just made this quick money and I can't even sustain this, which happens all around me every day. I'm around entrepreneurs all the time, and I see it, and I'm like, okay, slow and steady wins the race, passionate wins the race, building foundation builds everything. And like that's another thing that I want to speak on, because a lot of people, there's a lot of opportunities, and then people say it's not working for me. It's not that it's not working for you. It's not that you don't have the passion enough to fuel it to actually get it to work, because you don't actually like it. You just wanted to make a quick dollar.
That's right.
And that's not a good, energetic field for money. Money doesn't want you. Money wants you for a long not just for a good time and a long time. They don't want you to like a Netflix and chill situation. Like if you go into something and you're like, I just want this quick and I don't actually care about it, and I'm just trying to like make $1 right now, and you don't actually care about it, and it's like a not a long-term goal, it's gonna do the exact same energy you're giving to it. It's gonna come for a second, It's gonna leave.
That's exactly right. Yeah, and you said it just right at the end. I wanted to add, it's all about the long game. Everything in life is long game. It's like the tortoise and the hare, right? The rabbit or whatever, the hare is like running around, burns itself out, and then it has to rest and sleep. And the tortoise is like, it ends up winning the race. You really have to be strategic. You really have to be committed. There's that passion, determination, blinders on. You go. It doesn't mean it has to be slow. It just, you have to be thinking about long games. So, the tortoise and the hare is a little bit dated because it makes it seem like it's slow. It doesn't have to be slow, but you have to be thinking about the future. You have to be staying focused. You have to have a plan and know that it's not about the quick buck. It's not about just getting out of the gate and getting what you need now and zooming. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time.
Dude, if you go into something being like, this is going to take 5 years, and that's all right in the back of your head, like just it might not. It may take 1.
Yeah.
But if you just say that and you are so calm about it, you're like, I'm going to do this for the next 5 years of my life. Actually though.
For me, I don't give a shit how long it takes. Honestly, I've gotten to the point to be totally in surrender. I know that it's going to happen. I have that much certainty that everything that I desire is going to happen. It has happened. It didn't happen the way I wanted. I didn't realize I had to go through the felony and everything to arrive at that person that I knew who I was going to be when I was 5. But I fucking know I'm there. And so everything else that I desire, I know it's going to happen. I don't have to think about how or when or any of that shit. I know the process to get there, and it's just, I know it. For me, being able to let go was like that last piece of manifestation. I have all the other, the mindset, the thoughts, the whole, everything else. And I'm
letting
just like,
go is crazy.
It's like I wake up knowing with 100% certainty I'm reaching where I want to go. It's going to happen.
That's so hot.
It's really sexy.
It's really sexy.
And
there's a lot of sexiness going on in this room right now.
Super. And I'm like, I mean, for those of you watching, I'm like totally in a relaxed, like,
look at her. She's like
post-sex position almost. Like I have a fake cigarette here. I'm just like, but that's how it feels to me. I literally feel like so relaxed and so confident, like just so satiated knowing that 100% my desires are coming through. It's liberating. And so there's no anxiety, there's no fear. And I can trust my intuition. I can trust my guidance. I know my process. You know your process. You have your habits and you know that process works for you. I know my process works for me. So what is there to freak out about? Nothing. We know that it's happening. We're taking the steps. We know how the universe or our world interacts with us. And you just do it.
Yeah, if you live your life and you focus more on the reps than the outcome, you will be successful. Like now, just to break it down maybe, because things can be very overwhelming, like this is what I think about when I wake up about my business. It's super simple. Okay?
Let's do it.
I broke it down into these are my goals every day. This is the only thing I care about when I wake up is I have a goal to sell $200 a day of my business. That's my goal. $200 a day is almost $6,000 a month in a way, something like that. It's close to it. But if you sat there and you're like, I want to make $10,000 this month, you'd be like, right? And then you break it down. I break everything so minuscule. I go by the month. If I have a year goal, I break it down to like 6 months, then I break it to a month, then I break it down to a day. Sometimes you can break it down to a minute, depending on what you do. I want to make $200 in sales a day. That's my goal. That's it. If I hit it, great. If I don't, great. I see what works or not. I want to message 10 people a day, just cool stuff, connect with people, maybe talk about my brand, maybe not, maybe just connect with cool people every single day. And I want to make like 4 posts a day on my social media. I don't care what the outcome is. I just want to do it. I just want to do the rep. I want to create the habit of doing it, right? And that's literally it. That's literally what I wake up every day. I mean, aside from like, I want to go to the gym, all these other things, but like when it comes to my business, like that's it, because I know that that's going to get me to this goal. Once I can achieve that, once that's happening on auto, once I'm like, I can make $200 a day in my business every day by doing these outputs, and I know how many of these outputs it takes me to do that, I can move on to the next goal. I can move on to 300 or 400, or I want to move on to, now my goal is more on like maybe I want to grow my actual followers, and I'm like, well, how many followers do I want to get by the end of the month? And if I'm like, I want to get 300 more followers, I'm like, okay, well, how many of that is that a day? And I'm like, oh, that's just a couple a day. And I'm like, okay, well, how can I get this couple a day? And then when you make it so small, it makes it less daunting. When you're not like people are like, oh, I'm gonna make $1 million this year, and it's like it makes it so daunting. And when you don't achieve and you don't feel like you're achieving that, it makes people quit. And just make it small and get there, and then move on to the next level. And then that might, I started hitting my goal faster than I thought I was, right? So now I'm like moving on, right? So I'm like moving on to the next thing, right? But like, and now I'm moving on to this TikTok thing where my goal is, I just want to go live 4 hours a day. I don't care what the outcome is. I just want to go live 4 hours a day. I don't know how much money I'm going to make. I might go live 4 hours a day and make $0 tomorrow. I don't know. I don't care. I want to create the habit of going live 4 hours a day, because eventually that 4 hours a day is going to make $1,000 a day.
And you know what? And I love this so much because this is what we're talking about, the expectation, knowing that everything's going to be okay, but not expecting an outcome. Expectation sets us up for disappointment. Yeah. Disappointment, like I said, whether we disappoint ourselves or others, people disappoint us, that's like the worst fucking feeling. You want to avoid that at all costs. So I love it. And what you're doing is, and I want everyone who's listening to really understand this. Yeah. That is a demonstration of being passionately passionate about being passionate. Yeah. She's doing it because she wants to do it. It's important to her. She knows it's going to be helpful for her brand. She knows it's a long-term longevity, consistency. Her motive is to do it for the repetition, for the ingrainment, not for what it's going to get her. That is so important, to be detached from the outcome. And when I'm manifesting or creating, it's the same thing. I know I'm going to arrive at my outcome. Yeah. I don't know how or when. It doesn't matter. This is part of the beauty of journey in the life. It's every moment you get excited about just the process of knowing it's going to show up. When? Now? In a year? 5 years? Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be a cool surprise. But the point is, detach from the outcome. Do it because you fucking want to do it and you're blindly passionate about it. And for you, the intention was about ingraining.
It's habits.
It's habits. Yeah.
It's literally
I love it. That's so important.
Literally everything is habits. Just create a habit. Like, just create a new habit that's going to get you to where you want to be. Like, I already know that eventually me going live every day is going to feed my business so much, my personal brand so much, my sales, my cup, just being live, talking to people is going to be fun.
Because we love to talk.
I love being on camera. I know it's something that I like to do. I get to meet people all around the world. There's like a social aspect to it that's cool. It's getting me out of my comfort zone. Like, it's gonna be really nerve-wracking at first, and I'm gonna be able to get it. But I know that if I stay consistent, that it's bound to happen. So like, that's all I care about is creating the habit. And everything in my life is about creating the habit. Going to the gym every day is a habit now for me. I don't think about it. Sometimes it's harder than others, but I want to go.
Yeah.
Like, I want to wake up and go. Like, I don't think about it anymore. It's in my schedule. It's ingrained in my brain.
Yeah. It's repetition.
So
you just make it an automatic.
You just make it an automatic, just like brushing your teeth in the morning. How do you think you don't think about brushing? I hope you don't think about brushing your teeth. If you do, that's fine. But you don't think about brushing your teeth in the morning. You wake up and you brush your teeth. Like, that's it.
And it's the same with the subconscious thoughts, right? Or the unconscious thoughts. When you repeat so much at a conscious level, it becomes your new default. And so you wake up feeling like a badass. Yes, you reinforce it with your habits to keep that. It's a muscle. You have to keep exercising it. But you can get to the point after that first push where it's automatic and it's like your life just transforms because you're in a completely new state. So
it is.
I love it.
And like, it all goes with choosing happy, because choosing yourself is choosing happy.
Yes. I love this. Oh my God. This has been such an amazing episode. This is why I know we've been recording for a long time. We've got such a long episode with the half of the last one. Yeah. So thank you.
Last things.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me again.
I feel like there's so much more to talk about with you. I love you. I just love you as a person and your brand, like the whole thing. All of you is just, I resonate so much. You're super cool. We already talked about what your next level is. You're going to be doing like this amazing.
Yeah, I'm doing a sprint.
Push. You're doing this sprint, which I always like to, incorporate with my guests. What's your next level? And that's like you're pushing yourself in your comfort zone, and we all have to do that. That's all part of the evolutionary process. So this is super cool. We will put up where people can find you, your brand. Is there a website that you want to route everyone to?
If you want to stalk me on the socials, which I'm pretty fun, I'm not going to lie. I post my story like all day like a psycho. You can follow me at Desi Marie LV on all platforms. That's TikTok, that's Instagram. I'm most active on my Instagram. I just love Instagram as a platform personally. My brand is called Bittersweet Lifestyles. So bittersweet, the word bittersweet _lifestyles on Instagram. bittersweetlifestyles.com is our website if you want to go check it out, shop, see all the cool merch that we have. And then on TikTok, it's also Bittersweet Lifestyles. So everything is under that. And I would love for you to join the community. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a DM. I'm always answering DMs about my life on Instagram, TikTok, whatever the case may be.
And buy the merchandise. Dude, it's amazing.
Hell yeah. And I'm starting some stuff in Vegas too, where if you have like the merchandise, like I'm starting to throw events and stuff, like you get to just come in for free because you're part of the Happy Squad. So you don't have to like, I love it. Yeah, I'm just creating like a cool community, and just everyone's trying to better themselves that wear this and like join the community, and that's what it's all about. It's about being around good people that motivate you, and that's important.
I love that you're creating a community of cool people.
Just badass people.
Yes. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I hope you really enjoyed today's episode. I know I did. I know she did. Because
I loved everything I learned about you too. I had no idea this stuff.
I know. It's pretty deep, right? But anyways, we gave you some really good insights, some practical tools, very specific mantras, affirmations. We loaded you up today with some great strategies. So take those at home and message me. You can always communicate with me and let me know how you're doing with all these practical tools.
Yeah.
Until next time, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.